Reflecting on Matthew chapter 16, verses 21 through 28. Following Peter's confession that Jesus is the Messiah, Jesus tries to explain what being the Messiah actually means by predicting suffering and death. As Jesus is embarking on his journey to Jerusalem, his teachings to the disciple is becoming more intense. The prediction we read in today's passage is the first of 4 passion predictions of suffering, death, and resurrection. This conflicts with the disciples' understanding of what the Messiah would do, so it's difficult for them to even fathom. With his newfound authority, Peter pulls Jesus aside to teach Jesus the correct understanding of what the Messiah should be. He is to come with military might, overthrow the Roman Empire, delivering God's people with familiar power so that God can rule like earthly kings. Peter is assuming he knows God's will and God's ways better than Jesus does. Jesus is disrupting the way things are and the way in which people are comfortable. None of us like that. So Peter doesn't seem to know that Jesus knows God intimately, like they're connected. We have the student trying to teach the teacher with expertise, which is really what the Pharisees and the scribes were trying to do with Jesus as well. Jesus knows God and God's will. Jesus knows who he is and what he is called to do. Peter's teachings are according to what humans think or want. Jesus understands that military might does not make things right, that violence only begets escalating violence that destroys life. Jesus came to save with a radical understanding of a nonviolent way of being. Love, not dominance, is the path forward. Martin Luther King Jr. tried to remind us of that 57 years ago on his march in Washington, D.C. But we still struggle to understand that, as some try to call peaceful, even the peaceful protesters, terrorist. We still prefer a familiar system that offers some comfort over a different way of being where love, justice, and truth can lead us. Peter is both rock and a stumbling block, just as any of us can be as well. We are called to remove the obstacles so that all can see God as God is, loving, kind, full of justice and mercy. We are called we need to deny our self-interest, our insistence on our way, and our desire in order to experience the life that God intends, building up community where love can actually prevail. We are called to be students with a teachable spirit, following Christ's example. May you see in the scripture what God is trying to teach each and every one of us.